Howdy, everybody. This is Raul Diaz, the budding artist who is trying his best to get through the myriad of programs out there. Every time I come up against a problem and I see that a lot of other people who have had this problem, I make a small video. Figured, why not? That way, you know how to fix it, and you know that you see how it's fixed. It gets fixed. Okay. So enough blabbing. Um, I noticed that a lot of people were having problems with changing an object's pivot point when importing into Unity. And yeah, I had this problem. So let's talk about it. Last couple of videos, we made a concept, uh, created a model, sculpted the model, textured the model, then put a BVH and made a Santa Claus boxing, which was kind of cool. One of the things that I've been doing is created something big, made a project. Where would you be if you were Nightwing? And created a living room for him. The thing I found that was irritating is that Maya is very CPU intensive. I'm running an i7 2600 with 32 gig of RAM, which 5 years ago was great, but you could buy a box with about the same amount of stuff for 300 bucks. I don't have $1,000 to put together a nice Threadripper, which I think is just the CPU. So what can I do? Well, I found out that Unity comes with Octane. Unity is a game engine, but they recently came out with a new product called Cinemachine, which allows you to do camera control, dollying, things like that. And combining that as well as Octane means that my NVIDIA 1070 will be doing all the processing and I don't have to spend the money. So I'm pretty happy about that. So let's get started. In Maya, we're using the student version of Maya uh, because it's free and it's for learning. You just go to Autodesk.com, sign up, and you can get a free version of that. So here is Alfred, just a poster, just a plane. Took the edges, extruded them, beveled the inside, beveled the outside. Started off with a $10 frame. Now it's about 150 bucks. So we just UV'd real quick with a projection UV'd, threw on a picture of Alfred, and how do we get him to Unity? We just like you set your projects in Autodesk. You go Maya. You set your Unity project for the exact same reasons as you would in Maya. I created a project called Model Storage simply because I wanted to convert my models over. And we're going to send this to Unity. Just a selection. Reason I'm not going to send everything is that um, you can have, you know, a much larger outliner. And if you have one problem, you'd have to ferret it out through the hierarchy. So we're just going to send out the Alfred poster. I want to show you what happens when I do an FBX file, because you're probably having the same problem. Now, not Maya, Unity has an ongoing compiler constantly going. So if you're working on a model and then all of a sudden you save it, it'll pop up here and you can view what's going on. So let's just drop it into there. And this is what happens when I put an FBX file. Reason being, it doesn't have all of the textures. So we do one of these, we do one of these. And why did I show you that? Because in case you've done that and that's what happened. And I'm going to show you how to fix that. Don't export, send it to Unity. Selection. And I'm not sure if I told you this before, but I'll tell you this now. Make sure you zero out all of your translation, scaling, and rotations. You go to Modify and freeze everything. And then, of course, your center pivot. Modify and put that center pivot right dead center. You don't want to have any problems when you're setting to another program. So it's like moving, and then you're just having to go back and picking up more stuff. If you're going to move, move once. Alfred poster. Now I change it to an OBJ. Go over to Unity, and it's going to convert all of its files. Now I said before I have an i7 2600. I'm sure if I had one of those AMD Threadrippers that it'd be done by now. And you're sitting there going, well, how many textures does that have? It doesn't have that. It has one texture. For some reason, it sends over everything in your source image files. So yeah. Now there's two ways to put your Alfred into your scene. First thing I like to do is to find out where my camera is. That way, everything's all good. Then you take Alfred and you drop him in your hierarchy. You could do it that way, or you could take him and you can drop him into your scene. As you can see, there is a significant difference. This one looks more to what we were expecting. Okay, sorry about that. Just a bit of coughing fit. Now, we move these here, and when you take a look, for some reason, they're rotated. Not sure what happened. I think it's modeling error, but here's a way to fix that. If you kind of notice, when we dropped it into the hierarchy, that zeroes out the translation as to where the center pivot is. When we dropped it into the scene, it pretty much dropped to wherever we put it. So I want to flip this over. Hit the E, and it is a global pivot. See how the rotation is? Let's zero that out. Put that right back to where it's supposed to belong. Easy way to fix that, you come over here to pivot, hit the button, and now we want to flip that 180. Well, that didn't work out at all, did it? So let's try doing this manually. Manually. I'm going to do it like this until it hits 180. Now, what is causing all that? No idea. However, one of the things that I've learned is I just want to get things done. And there you have it. Can you zero out the translations or anything like that? I don't know. But once I hit that center pivot button, then there it is. All right, that's all I got for you. That's how I solve my problems. Now I'm going to start deleting a lot of these because I don't need them. And hopefully we'll see you again.